هستی؟
نه.
پس چی هستی؟
من بدم.
Hello, everybody, and happy Halloween. This is TJR. If this is your first time here, welcome to the channel. If not, welcome back. Today, I want to talk about two of the best vampire genre movies that I have seen in recent memory. Now, one of these is from the US and the other is from Sweden, but neither film is in English. Both of these films escaped my radar for years until I discovered them last year at Halloween time. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, it's too late to talk about these films this year, but I'm definitely going to be talking about them next year in 2023. And so that time is now. Now, both of these films could be classified under the genre of horror romance, but both offer a very unique and compelling twist on their respective genres. Now, warning, we do have some mild spoilers, and I do apologize in advance for any names that I might mispronounce.
نصف شبی کجا بودی؟
دختر
در تاریکی کنده
Now, first up is a film titled A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. This is an American-made horror film set in Iran and filmed entirely in the Persian language with subtitles. This movie was originally released in 2014. It somehow managed to elude me for 8 years before I finally discovered it Halloween last year. The movie unfolds in a fictional Iranian industrial suburban town that translates from the Persian language into Bad City. It is directed by first-time director Anna Lily Amirpour, who in interviews has stated that graphic novels did provide some of the film's inspiration. So right away, I had to wonder if Bad City isn't a play on Frank Miller's Sin City. At the heart of the narrative are two central characters, Sheila Bond, who is referenced in the film's credits only as the girl. She is the movie's unnamed title protagonist, a female vampire whose Habib substitutes for her vampire cape, and who stalks the streets of Bad City at night, hunting down her next meal. Opposite of her is Arash, played by Arash Miranda, a hardworking young man who carries the burden of having to care for his drug-addicted father and who struggles to be a good person in Bad City, something that is clearly not an easy thing to do. Now, one late night, on his way home from an underground Halloween party, and dressed as Dracula, no less, he encounters the girl who invites him over to her place. But instead of trying to drink his blood, although she is tempted, the two spend the night listening to records together, and a strange romance starts to emerge between them. The film also explores the empathetic friendship between the girl and another female character named Ati, who is a prostitute in a society that ostracizes them both. This subplot offers a layer of depth and humanity to the story and explores how women are looked upon in Iranian society. In addition, the movie also delves into the themes of addiction, oppression, and vigilante justice. Now, A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night is set in Iran, but it was actually shot in Southern California. Now, despite this geographical difference, director Amirpour obscures the Southern California town in darkness so that you never really notice this. Honestly, I have to say that visually, this film is beautiful to look at. It boasts striking black and white cinematography that creates an eerie and yet still beautiful dreamlike atmosphere. And all of this is further enhanced by the film's soundtrack, which features atmospheric pop songs and an instrumental score that pays homage to Italian westerns. Now, alongside graphic novels, director Amirpour has also cited films like the 1922 German expressionist horror film Nosferatu and spaghetti westerns as inspirations, and even told her cast to watch these films in preparation for the roles. What also sets A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night apart from other films in this genre is its very unique genre blend. Often promoted as the first Iranian vampire western, it effortlessly fuses elements of horror, romance, the Wild West, and I would also add classic Hollywood film noir of the 40s and 50s. And in doing so, this movie challenges the traditional boundaries of the vampire genre, presenting us with something fresh and new, and all from a first-time director.
Är du vampyr?
Hade du tyckt om mig ändå?
Next is the 2008 Swedish film Let the Right One In, based on the 2004 novel of the same title and directed by Thomas Alfredson, perhaps best known for his 2011 espionage film Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Just like our last movie, we have a female vampire and a male protagonist. But unlike our last movie, our male protagonist is only 12 years old. His name is Oscar, and he's portrayed by Kari Hedebrandt. And again, my apologies if I mispronounce any names. Oscar is a meek and lonely preteen who lives with his single mother and is repeatedly bullied at school. After school, Oscar indulges in revenge fantasies against his bullies, which, given his age and the level of bullying he endures, is very understandable. He also has a strong interest in real-life murders and collects related newspaper clippings that he keeps in a scrapbook. A casual viewer might think that this is a very morbid interest for a 12-year-old. But I found this character to be a very sensitive young boy who understands the difference between right and wrong, and who, under the right influence, might show great potential as a homicide investigator someday. It is, in fact, this potential that allows Oscar to start putting two and two together between a series of local neighborhood murders and the arrival of a young mysterious girl named Ellie, portrayed by Lena Lee Anderson, who moves in next door with a much older man named Håkan. This character is portrayed by Per Ragnar, who Oscar at first assumes is her father. I'll want to discuss this character a little bit more later in this video, as his appearance signals some very dark, foreboding undertones for Oscar. Now, before Oscar can figure out what exactly Ellie is, a kinship will develop between the two of them that will later blossom into a romance. And when Ellie discovers that Oscar is being bullied, she encourages him to stand up for himself. Now, visually, this film is quite different from our last one. Unlike A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, which is shot in black and white and is visually highly stylized, Let the Right One In is shot in color and is much more grounded in its visual approach. Outside of the film's supernatural elements, there is an almost pedestrian quality to how Oscar's home life and his school life are portrayed. It all seems very real and believable, until, of course, the film's more horrific moments make themselves known. Spoilers. I'm going to discuss the ending of both films, but I don't think I'm going to give away too much. Now, both these movies have very similar endings, with our protagonist and our female vampire riding off together. In A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, Arash and the girl take off into the night in Arash's car. And there is this sense of hope for these two that perhaps together they will find a new life and new meaning. It all feels very storybook romantic. Let the Right One In ends in a very similar way, with Oscar and Ellie on a train together. Now, in order to hide herself from sunlight, Ellie must travel inside of a box, but the two tap messages to each other. And there is this sense of happiness in Oscar's expression as they ride off together to start a new life. But in my opinion, it's a very false happy ending. You may remember the older man named Håkan that Oscar assumed was Ellie's father. Now, during the film, we find out that Ellie and Håkan met when he was roughly the same age as Oscar, about 12 years old. He began a relationship with her in his youth. And when we meet him in the present day, his primary function in the relationship is hunting down and killing random individuals and harvesting their blood for Ellie. He is basically her Renfield. He has devoted his entire life to her And before the film is over, he will die in that service to her. A lot of the online reviews that I've seen for this film describe it as a horror movie that is also a coming of age story about two lonely young individuals who connect and bond and make each other's lives better. To some extent, that is true. Elia does encourage Oscar to take control of his life. She does encourage him to stand up to his bullies. She will later stand up for him and defend him. And on the surface, the film's ending does seem to indicate a happy ending for Oscar. And while he might find some happiness with her at first, I can't help but feel that in the grand scheme of things, that happiness will be short-lived because he will grow older while Elia stays perpetually a young teenager. And in the end, I can't help but think that he will suffer the same fate as his predecessor, that he will grow old and die in her service. I rewatched the film again just to kind of see if my suspicions were true. The film is very complex in how it portrays the relationships, and you could look at it from different angles, and you could even think that, well, she didn't intend to lure him in, but once Hakan dies, she has no choice because she needs the Renfield. She needs the caretaker. She needs someone to make sure that she is okay during the daytime. It's actually, in my opinion, a very dark ending and one that I think gets missed in most of the online discussions regarding this film. But let me know what you think. So have you seen these videos? Please leave your comments. I'll be curious to know what you have to say. Or has this video intrigued you enough that you want to check these films out? If you want to show your support for videos like this, please do me a favor and just hit the like button. That goes a long way in helping this channel. I'd also encourage you to click subscribe and click the bell notification icon so you never miss a video. I also want to thank my patron supporters who are helping me make more videos. Patron supporters do receive exclusive weekly videos not available on this channel. Mostly, though, I just want to thank you for stopping by and hanging out. It means a lot. Happy Halloween, and I hope you all stay safe and healthy. Take care. Bye-bye.